Well, welcome to part two.
Yeah, that just, we were just sitting here looking at the computer and it just went dead. And I was or it just stopped recording. And I was telling her I've had a lot of that kind of stuff this week. I don't know if it's related to that. It could just be some of the crazy energy we were talking about earlier.
It's that eagle. Is anybody there?
They're
Yeah.
coming back.
Okay, I don't know. I have no idea. She said, all of a sudden just came up and said that it's off. Now, the internet was messed up last night here. It's been working great today, but if we get cut off again, I don't know what to tell you. We'll come back if we can. I don't know. But she was just saying every time she goes in a room, some computer somewhere's tearing up. I don't let Jamie touch my computers for that reason. You might be having the same energy. And then again, it might be a touch of evil that don't want somebody to hear what Miss Angela said today. I hope we didn't lose that first one, people. Well, I hope we didn't lose the first one.
Okay, well, I think we just wrapped up talking about the ghost car or whatever that was, and we were talking about Angie's thing about things in the crust of the earth.
I wonder if these earthquakes are shaking stuff up and allowing things out. I think I told you before. I know a man. SpongeBob said, "I know a man who knew a man who knew a man who knew a man who knew a man's cousin," and he said this, but this man just knew his uncle, I think, and he actually saw beings in a mine where they were mining, and they actually saw him run back into the thing. And I know two men actually. Another guy saw a little being like that was seemed to be coming from the earth. So yeah, people, there's all grades of stuff out there, and I think you have to be open. God, I could even tell you another story, but I'm not going to.
Why not?
Because it's long. It's long and boring. But it's just, let me just say, I left a note for some otherworldly beings, and they responded. I've already told you, actually. I tell everything, and I don't remember nothing I tell.
Well, wait a minute. You left a note?
Yeah, that's right. I actually wrote a note.
What did the note say?
Help me.
And what did they say?
They said, Angela, leave us messages. It came in on the tape, and I have witnesses. But I'll tell you that story some other time.
Okay.
I've already told you, actually.
Well, let me just toss out something really bizarre. Since you're talking about, you said that these beings who are messing with our computer right now can come in all these different ways. I read something. You know me. I like to read different stuff. You know what DARPA is, which is in Switzerland, I think, and it's supposed to be this very classified, very advanced scientific experiments, international cooperation here. There's some conjecture out there that some forces that don't want this planet to get to a higher level are actually basically just opening up a giant friggin' portal there and just inviting stuff in.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Well, I'm not saying I know it. I'm just saying that was out there as a theory from somebody, and I'm like, well, that's interesting. What do you think about that?
I don't know a thing about it, so I cannot really properly comment, but I'm going to say it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, like they're basically just vacuuming them out of another realm and just.
I do think that there are portals being opened left and right, and I don't think it's all good. So I don't think it is at all. I think we're supposed to stay in our own lane, which maybe is why we get afraid so badly when we see some things that don't belong here. Maybe that we have a natural fear to not believe in stuff, to eschew anything that is paranormal or metaphysical, because that's what keeps us safe. We're safe if we don't go there. Well, why can't we go there? Because maybe we were designed to stay in our own lane, because this is where our school of hard knocks is, and this is where we're supposed to learn about the fine art of being human. I mean, I'm guessing. And maybe also for other reasons, because it's a different vibration, and that vibration doesn't gel with this one. So it doesn't give you the right vibe, because it's, it's non-compatible. That's what I'm trying to say.
Just follow up just one little thread there. Angie was the one talking about the things under the earth, and then she said like Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that whole concept of what was it, the upside down? The upside down. I thought that was really, really interesting.
A lot of these ideas, maybe it's coming from really some creative genius's mind, and then sometimes it's because maybe they are getting their idea. Their creative mind is actually able to absorb some hidden realities, and these are being expressed in a creative or entertaining format. Maybe we have entertaining formats presented to us in a non-threatening way, so that we can learn what we need to learn in a way that's not non-threatening, that we can absorb things that are beyond this. We have blinders on here. And I think when we go into spirit, we don't, and we can see and know and feel and all this, but maybe sometimes we can maybe move these blinders back a little bit too when we are aware or open to or acknowledge maybe what we're seeing and feeling around us all the time anyway, or not.
Well, I think we're having all kinds of discussions now. Everybody is in their life that are far beyond what anybody would have talked about when it comes to metaphysical stuff 10 years ago, certainly, and maybe even 5 or 3 or 2. And the one reason I believe is because of the entertainment that's out there now that's bringing these concepts in, and in taking them in that way, we're able to integrate them, and people are more open to this stuff.
I done warned you about Teletubbies.
You did.
Okay, well, and it's really not a warning, but I tell you, I think that right there was preparing a generation of kids that maybe human hybrids, maybe. But now, then there's that movie for children, Chicken Little. And, it turns out that the sky that fell on his head was actually from an alien vessel. And, and the aliens really weren't here to kill anybody, although everybody thought they were. Have you seen Chicken Little, the movie for children? You need to watch it.
I have to say I have not.
Well, you should.
Okay.
Because it's in the animation style you don't like, which I do, but it just watch it, okay? It's a message to the little children at that time, which are now young adults. And I think these children have been prepared to accept the inevitable, which is, hey, people, you're not alone down there. You got company. That's what I think. I think it's been coming on for years. I think I actually sent you a text on that. NASA just, for some unknown reason, decided to tell everybody, oh, yeah, we got a lot of videos that we're not going to show you that are like really good, but we're not going to let you see them. Why tell us at all?
See, I even wrote that on that article. And since you brought it up, let's see if I can find it real quick.
It's like,
I just put on there like, oh, come on.
We get scared to death if we see, something we don't understand, or like we already trained ourselves to not see anything else. And that goes to the other thing I sent you, old gal. Do you remember? I sent you a thing about.
Hang on a second.
Okay, it's gonna be into that, but go right ahead.
Yeah, let's get this. I'm like, I have this list. I have to check things off.
You do it.
Okay. One of the articles that she sent was that the Navy admits it has additional top secret footage of the USS Nimitz UFO encounter, which we talked about before, but won't release it. And I just wrote a big like, why release a statement saying you're not going to release the footage? I mean, that's just more.
What? It's to take these blinders and do this to them a little bit, okay? And this is one of my things that irritate me. It's like people are afraid of everything, but people. I'm watching like a ghost show, or something, and people say, "Well, I am very scientific. I don't really believe in the paranormal." And then I had this paranormal experience, but it's like maybe there is a science to the paranormal. We just don't understand it yet. Maybe, it's like we are thinking that paranormal is without any scientific foundation. We just don't know what the foundation is. And that made me think about, the old story about the headhunters going to get the people, but they light a flashlight or a match, and they're like wowed by it and think that they're gods now, okay? They're so impressed with this technology, which is magic. I think that is how humans are, so if they can't accept anything, though, outside their reference, their frame of reference, then it just doesn't exist. And people who would think otherwise are just wrong. And, do you know there was this boy, I'm not making this up, that I think it's Mr. Yutzy's class, that recently became a Facebook friend, and I love him as a teacher. He's my favorite. But anyway, he and Miss Wilson, they were my favorite teachers. But anyway, Mr. Yutzy, I think was his class. He was telling us in high school, and I still remember this, that there was a boy that he had taught that did not believe in icebergs because they were not in the Bible. Okay, and then
how do you feel about refrigerators then?
So set that aside. Then I have a friend who had a restaurant, and she was letting somebody use it as, renting it out to somebody who was having UFO meetings. And she said, well, I don't believe that this is my impression of my good friend at this time. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. You know who it is if I'm doing that, right?
That's the giveaway.
Anyway, she says, because I said, why? And she said, because I've never seen one. Therefore, there ain't no such thing. Okay. God, it drives me crazy. Just because you may not personally have some sort of experience does not mean that it is not in existence. And although it's probably pretty good to have a healthy dose of skepticism, because there are a lot of nut bars in the world.
But science is the same way, because science says if I can't measure it, it doesn't exist.
See, most scientific discoveries, I think, have happened with leaps of imagination. I think that's like Einstein, somebody talked about that. You have to be able to imagine something and to work towards a scientific thing, Anyway, I'm just talking about stuff. I don't know.
No, man, I think this is really, really cool stuff. And I'm kind of sorry now that I insisted on going into this article because you were going to say something else. And now
No, that was it.
Okay, that was it.
I actually did not lose my thought.
Okay.
It just wasn't that interesting, probably. And I'm
very interesting.
I don't know if it's my trash or not, but if you see me making bad faces over here, it's because I keep getting a whiff of something and it's about to upset me. But, spirits can travel in a way that you can smell sometimes. In other words, if you ever smell roses or something very nice and floral, there's every chance in a world it is, in fact, a spirit, a higher level good. Your body interprets that, and it's good. It's either angels or maybe somebody you love. But nasty smells can also be, that's kind of one of those black and white things. It's kind of have that for what it's worth.
Angie responded just a few minutes ago. It's kind of scrolled on past us now that spirituality is much more commonplace now because we were talking about the entertainment, bringing that in, about people being open to crystals and using crystals and that kind of stuff. And that folds into another text that you sent me that just said, do rocks hold memory? And it made me think about the consciousness and all of the mineral kingdom, I guess.
I think the earth is alive. I think the rocks are all connected to that earth energy, and I think they hold memory. And some people, I've had people say that a rock actually speaks to their spirit. And I've told you about a friend of mine who, she just knows which rock she has to pick up and keep around her. And there you go. You're carrying rocks in your pocket. And I don't think that's weird at all.
That's jet, which is supposed to be very good for empaths.
I actually felt drawn to that.
Yeah. And this is...
Can I touch? I should have asked.
Of course. And that's blue lace agate, which is supposed to be good for anxiety.
I need to get one of those, though.
I've got one, and I'll bring it to you.
Dude, because honestly, I'm not a rock person myself, even though I have a bowl of them and I like to look at them and stuff. They usually don't speak to me. But I like them. But that actually I felt compelled. I would probably want to keep that one on my person.
Well, I will. Man, that wind's really getting up out there. Mm-hmm. I'll bring you one, but it's supposed to be good to protect empaths. So that would be probably
that would explain why I need it. Lord knows I do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people watching do, because, I think a lot of people that are drawn to this are because they are already this way themselves. Hence, the need to be here with us today.
So Melinda carries crystals and rocks too. And Kelly says that she smelled her mom's perfume after she had passed in a place it couldn't possibly have been.
I've had a lot of people. I think the scent is the easiest way to pick up a spiritual presence. I don't know why I think that, but I do.
Anything else you wanted to say about rocks?
I have rock earrings today. I mean, I do like them. Don't get think I'm wrong. It's just some people, I think water speaks to me. I think that's where I get my most intense connection to nature is through water.
Okay.
But I do like rocks. Don't think I don't. I like diamonds. And I'm not just saying that.
They're girls' best friends, what I heard.
They are, but I actually really like the way they feel. And I like gold. I love the way gold, love gold. Silver, I have some, and I have some little silver things, and I like it. But sometimes silver actually does something weird. It's like gold is mellow, and silver to me vibrates real high. To me, that's the way I experience it. And if I'm not in the right place, it actually feels, I don't know, like agitating a little bit. So it's not a rock, it's a metal, but it's still part of nature and all that, right? So basically, here's how you pick out your rocks. How you pick out your jewelry. It's how you pick out stuff. You go with, this feels good. I want to have this on my body. That's what you do.
Okay. Well, I've never been a crystal person, but I have been on this mission to find some things that I thought would be helpful to me. And these two that I have in my pocket seem to be doing it.
Might have a crystal there. That's a good idea to look into.
Selenite. Yeah, that is a really good healing crystal, a cleansing one. If you go to any kind of holistic kind of physician or acupuncturist or massage therapist, a lot of times they'll have selenite around their table because it's just a healing energy.
So I should have some of that, unless I'm already doing, I don't know it. I do have, like I said, bowls of rocks sitting around, and I feel like I'm supposed to have them, and I go with what I feel. And I tell you what I like to have. If I ever come into money, when I'm not holding my breath at this point, I want it really badly. I don't like to say I want anything, but I do desire it. There it is. It's those really big, what do you call those things? Geode.
Mm-hmm.
The, what's your birth? February, the purple.
Amethyst.
They're really big, about $600, I think. Last time I saw one.
You saw the one we got in our front yard?
That? No.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did. I don't know. I probably did.
Ellen's cousin used to go to Arkansas and dig that stuff. And when she passed away, we ended up with a lot of the stuff, but we have an amethyst geode in the front yard. It's about, oh my God,
did see it.
that thing is huge.
Oh no, I saw it. Kim, you just have to look me. I think I'm a little bit in the zone today, and my mind don't work right. I know.
Well, you've been to my house so few times.
I think I did see it, and it just now registering.
You were so busy trying to get back in the car to leave.
I probably commented. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have. Ellen actually gave me a really nice crystal from Arkansas, actually, that I got sitting in there. Okay. But that, I really, oh man, I just that is the one thing. I don't know what it is. Now, speaking of rocks, that one is one that, and I did see. I know I saw it. I'm just not in my right mind right now. And it's there. It is. There's a thing. It's something about it. There's something about it that comforts me, for lack of a better word. So there, have that for what it's worth.
Okay. Well, if we can ever pick that thing up, it's really heavy. When we moved, 2 guys had to carry it.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So maybe you can inherit that at some point.
That's yours. You keep that. I don't want to take nobody else's, but I sure wouldn't turn down the one if I ever have an opportunity to acquire one the normal way.
Okay, let's keep going down the little mysterious text that you've sent me over the week to remind you of things you wanted to talk about. Now, you had pyramid stone. Did we already talk about that?
That's the one. Yeah. So
that's done. All righty.
Which is another lesson. If there's something, and hopefully that's in part 1 and it's not lost. But if there's something that you do need, maybe get in your calm place when you're about to fall asleep, or you're taking a shower and you're in your car and your mind's wandering, and imagine what you're hoping for. I'll imagine my geo and see what happens. It's like a way of putting energy out there and see if it comes back to you.
Okay. Here's another one you sent. Dogs face north.
Yeah, I think that is a thing. This is true about the magnetic field. Birds and all that. They go south or north or whatever by that in them, and they're finding out people have that ability now that they didn't know, that we actually maybe have it, and our dogs have the magnetic ability to detect magnetic fields, and they found this out because if you take a dog to a strange place, it will always face north when it takes a poop. Yeah, that's what I said. They face north in order to do their business. And
that's interesting.
Now, if they're in their yard that they're used to all the time, nobody cares anymore. So if you're ever lost in the woods and you have your dog, you can find north. Just watch it.
Just wait for them to have
But for some reason, that triggered the thought of me about this ability to detect a magnetic field in humans that is now being looked at. And that's the same kind of thing that may be inside us that also allows us maybe to perceive and know other things that are now metaphysical, paranormal, or whatever, when it's actually just not yet explained by the proper science.
Okay, let's just step back for a minute to the sense of smell.
Karen, that's right. That Karen is saying is exactly right.
Yes, Karen says our sense of smell is close to the emotional center in our brain, so smells tend to evoke more emotional, visceral reactions than other senses. It wouldn't surprise me if spiritual scents are easier to detect for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of people might think like my memory is in my nose because they can smell. It's like I smell those collards I was cooking, and all of a sudden I'm back as a little kid in Mom's kitchen again.
Yeah. All right. Here's the last text that you sent me, and this one is so interesting. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it.
Oh, I forgot.
Can this life be repeated? In other words, can you be Angela again?
Yeah, it's to see. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone back over my life and wondering, what decision could I make to maybe have a better outcome? What could I have done differently? And I've given it a lot of thought and I don't even know why. And then it occurred to me, if we reincarnate, maybe, we've talked before about maybe, I hope I've not been talking this whole time and I've got goulash on my lips. But anyway, we go back.
More than likely you have, because it's been a long time since you had any goulash. I'm sorry I didn't see it.
I know that's not what that is. But anyway, we go in time. One time I did a regret. I don't really do regressions on people anymore, but my cousin does. I can hook you up, whatever. But on this girl, and she was like remembering something that would have happened in her lifetime, current lifetime, but maybe it was a little bit different. Like she was in space and stuff. So I mean, we wouldn't have had space. Anyway, she's my age, you know what I'm trying to say? And the regression she had would have put her in the past life, right? Mm-hmm. So that didn't make sense logically. So it opens the door for maybe she was on another planet, and that was something they did there, like with human beings in a different time frame space. Or maybe it's also about reincarnating back in time, forward in time. And then I thought, I think we do maybe keep time linear when we reincarnate, because as humanity progresses, it would kind of reflect that in our soul. But maybe there are times when we do go back. Then sometimes I think of Earth as a theater, and that's already like this theater is already played out. Everything's already happening, and we just choose which body to drop into this time around to get what we need. And maybe it's already played out, and maybe decisions are illusion. And I think we have free will. So I'm not saying I believe this necessarily, but maybe it's all the above and little bits and beyond my pay grade to understand it. But maybe this theater of life that we have, and I do think there is a line from here to forever to get into this theater of Earth to have this human experience, by the way. And maybe it does work best if it's going in a linear fashion so we can understand it better. But maybe, too, maybe there are times there are certain characters on Earth, and maybe we take our time or our turn at dropping into these characters and living this life and seeing what we can do with it. And if that's the case, how could I fix it? How could I fix it? This one, because I want to fix it. And I feel about the only way I'm going to do it is to go back and be born to some other. No offense to my family, love you, but maybe I need. If I could be born to just, I think people that were older and ready to actually have a child that they would love, and want and make a priority. I think that my whole life could have maybe been a lot better for everybody. And I could have, and I actually, oh my God, I had this dream and I found the sweet spot. I found it. It was like I was saying, I need a do-over. I need a do-over. I just need a do-over. And I found the sweet spot. I found it. It's like, there's a decision. I found it. I found the place I could have made a decision to change everything if I had to do it the same way. And it is in high school. And it occurred to me, that's where I could have changed it.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. I'm sorry. You probably have hung up a long time ago, people. I'm sorry. It's been a weird day.
I didn't hear any dial tones. I think they're still there. It's so interesting that you said the thing about characters. And you guys want to see me kind of actually tense up for a minute, because I dreamed night before last. I had a little dust up this week with somebody at work. Not anything serious, but just territorial boundaries kind of getting crossed and confusion about who's doing what. And I went to bed one night. I was really upset about it. I was just mad, this is annoying. And when I woke up, there was a voice in my head that said, it's just characters. It's just characters in a play, in a way. So I think that's very interesting.
I do think that there are a lot of souls or beings on this planet that are empty vessels, maybe, who are characters that are put here for us to interact with in order to get our own human experience. And some of them are not empty at all. They're getting their experience, wondering maybe if you're the empty one, maybe. But I do think it's way beyond my pay grade and probably anybody else's alive on Earth at this day and time. In other words, I think we all have a bit of the big picture. It's like here the picture's a mosaic, and I can see part of it, you can see part of it, and sometimes our parts overlap and sometimes separate, but I don't think anybody probably is actually able to see the thing in its entirety. And I think that's something we might be evolving to. But I don't know. I just wonder, I don't know. I feel a little bit more at peace for some bizarre reason. Like, okay, if I do get a second chance, and I think that was what I was thinking. I want a second chance. I want to do it. I want to do over. And if I can't do over and get a different life to drop into, I want to know what place could I have changed it all. And anyway, I felt a little bit better. So I don't know. Well, if I go around again, I'm going to be rich and famous, and it's going to happen.
Well, just a while ago, you said that some people in our lives may just be characters to help us, with our experience.
I do think that.
Okay, I just wanted to tell you that also goes into what we've talked about. Dolores Cannon's work before, the hypnotherapist from Texas, little old lady who started. Well, she wasn't a little old lady when she started out, but she started out just helping people quit smoking and that kind of thing. And then she started these more the deeper kind of spiritual stuff started to come through. And one theme that came through a lot of her sessions was the concept of background or backdrop people who are in your lives or who are just to push you one way or the other, or almost to fill in some experiences. So that's just interesting that you sense the same thing.
Yeah, I like it when I find out that I'm not the only one that's, out there with that kind of thought.
Okay. We've been talking about an hour now. I know we got interrupted by the technical snafu. How are you feeling? You want to go a little longer?
If you got one more thing or so, if y'all want anything else or not.
Well, I tell you what. Oh my gosh! You know what? I just turned a page on my notepad. I've got more text from you.
I thought I sent more text than that.
Okay, here we go.
That's a good one.
All righty. Name vibrates. Does vibration reflect you? Everything vibrates. Does it resonate accurately?
Everything that exists vibrates, as you know, and that's determines on what it becomes. All things down to the molecular level, it's a vibration. And again, I think it's very interesting too, if you take things on the molecular level, how some things, as if you look at them are a certain way and they don't, you look away and they change. Did you know that? Look it up, because I can't do it.
That's quantum physics.
That's what I'm talking about. So as you know, everything. And I'm thinking, okay, if you can make things change or not change at that level, you can do it at this level too. That's called manifestation. You should always do that in a prayerful way, just so you can ask for things that are not just what feel good, but what actually are good for you. You might want to ask your higher power for that, to help you do that. But that wasn't the point of this story. Oh yeah, your name vibrates too. And I think this is interesting because, as you know, my name is Angela, but people, when I was little, they'd call me Angie. I'd always sign it Angela, but nobody called me Angela except teachers and whatnot. And, new people. But then at age 30-something, when I started following this passion of helping people, whatever, in this way, I felt like it didn't fit. It wasn't who I was anymore. So I became Angela, and it just didn't that fit who I was. At first it felt weird, but then it felt right. It felt weird when people I've known like forever call me Angela. That was weird. But, and then my husband calls me Ange, totally different vibration. But I told you a while back I was feeling confused. It's like I don't feel like I'm anybody anymore. I don't feel like those names fit. And I think I've become Angie again. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think I'm Angie now. And it's like, it's honest to God, I'm the same, and I'm a evolved version of Angie.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the point of this story is our name actually reflects us. And I've seen people before, and they tell me their name is A, and to go talking to them, it turns out, that wasn't the name they were born with at all. They changed their name completely from, B, or they start out with A and they changed it to B, midlife or as a young adult. And some people have changed their name several times because your name actually does speak to who you are. And I looked it up, and, Angela is messenger or angel. My middle name is Faye. Did not know this. I collect fairies, or I did collect them for a while, and it means of the fairies, or it actually could be bewitched. My name actually means messenger fairy, or whatever. And I thought,
I'm just
hold on. Hey,
talking.
make it quick. Somebody's got to pick up something. So anyway,
no, I'm gonna say I'm gonna step away for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, you can't.
I have to.
You can't, because somebody just.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. I just wrote a note, so I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay. Anyway, the point of this story is look at your name, look at the things around you. Does it accurately reflect you or not? Because you might need to change the name that causes you to become more comfortable with who you are or who you are becoming. That's it.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. Wow, this was a good one.
Or I hope so, because I don't know. I think I was way too windy in this. I talk way too much.
Well, that's why we're all here, to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I got a bunch of nothing.
Okay.
Are you people still there?
Yeah, we actually, when we came back for part 2, had more people than we did at the beginning. But
it's free.
I'm okay for a few more minutes.
See, if I wrote that down, I mean like now.
But so we still got stuff to carry over till next week. So lots of good stuff.
Lord willing.
All right.
Thank you all so much for joining, and please feel free to share. If you don't share if you don't want to, but if you want to, I just spit goulash. I am so tickled, and thank you again. And I hope we find part 1. If not, we'll just not do it. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Here we go. Let's try to end it. And here we go.